Why are seed oils terrible for our health? This is a diverse topic. On today's episode of my first YouTube video ever, we're going to be talking about why seed oils are terrible for our health. If you guys enjoy health and nutrition content and how you guys can maximize your health, your longevity, your cognition, your brain function, your muscle function, and just be the best overall version of yourself, hit subscribe, join the channel. There's going to be a lot more to come. Why are seed oils terrible for our health? Let's actually look. What is seed oil? Seed oils are omega-6 fatty acids or polyunsaturated fatty acids. These are going to be highly inflammatory to your body. And the thing about seed oils is they're evolutionarily inconsistent. This is what I say to people to start that don't really understand the mechanisms or the molecular occurrences that happen in the body with seed oils. What I could say to you that can make sense would be seed oils have been added into our diet around 1960. That's when processed foods started becoming very prevalent in the American diet. Seed oils, if you look back to the caveman days or the hunter-gatherer days, they were having mostly saturated fat. Seed oils comes from grains, canola, safflower, rapeseed. They're not vegetable oils, they're seed oils. People like to say vegetable oils. That's a marketing scandal. They try to get you on the health wave by saying vegetable, they're seeds. These seeds were never in this much concentration of omega-6s ever in our evolution. We were never having seed oils ever. It was protein, it was saturated fat, because that was the most available for us. And that's what we evolved off of. That's what our brain health, our hormone health needs. Omega-3s, those are saturated fats. I should explain this to you guys. Those are stable at room temperature, something like beef tallow, butter, ghee, coconut oil. Those are high in saturated fat. They're stable at room temperature. And that's our real fat. And the oil, you got to think about this. The oil is not really evolutionarily consistent to what we would have been eating. You guys are going to be like, what about olive oil? What about avocado oil? They're better. They still have high linoleic acid in it. You shouldn't be cooking with it. If you have some olive oil and pour it over some salmon every now and then, it's high quality, go ahead. That's awesome. The thing is you have to be aware. We've been eating saturated fat for a while now. The fact that we're switching to high omega-6s, we'll get to all that. They're highly refined, they're deodorized, they're bleached. They go through all these highly refined processes to make them this golden color. Now let's look at what are the most common sources of seed oils. Processed foods. If you look at most processed foods, they all have seed oils in them, so you have to be conscious of that. This is what I want to get to. I was explaining this earlier. I've already marked this out for you guys. Let's look. Seed oils just started getting into the American diet around 1865. It started consumption right here. It's just slowly kind of gone. And it kind of skyrocketed here. And it kind of stayed here. Right at 1960, remember this date, it just skyrockets off the roof. Let me look at this chart. This is the chronic disease prevalence in America. Look at 1960 here. I said in my video 10%, a 10% chronic disease rate probably here in America. After that, when it started getting promoted in processed foods, fast food restaurants, boom, skyrockets through the roof. And the thing is, if you actually go look at fast food restaurants, look at McDonald's. They used to fry their fries in beef tallow. It's kind of crazy. They just switched to seed oils. It's cheap, it's convenient, it's getting promoted. It makes us sick. At the level of the adipocyte, so that's the fat cell. Pretty much these fat cells control everything in the body. They have insulin receptors. In rat studies, they've been shown to, when you give people linoleic acid, people as well, we can talk about that. Rats, linoleic acid, they became insulin resistant and their health markers declined. It was because at the level of the fat cell, they were becoming insulin resistant because they were getting overloaded with free fatty acids because the fat cell was opening the door because of linoleic acid from omega-6 fatty acids or polyunsaturated fats or seed oils, whatever you want to say. And it was making the cell insulin resistant because, this is going to get specific here, it was becoming to the point where in the cell, in the mitochondria, cardiolipin was being oxidized. So oxidized linoleic acid was ending up in the cardiolipin in the mitochondria, which cardiolipin plays a vital role in ATP production, which was causing problems internally in the cell. And that becomes very molecular. We can talk about this. When excess fat or free fatty acids, so ceramides overload this cell, which is free fatty acids or linoleic acid. Pretty much this fat has been shut down from lipolysis. So lipolysis has been shut down in the fat cell, And these free fatty acids come in the cell, and the cell can't make a new cell. It's like dysfunctional because linoleic acid has destroyed the insulin receptor. Glucose is getting messed up. Insulin's getting spiked. The cell is just dysfunctional. It's getting in these free fatty acids, and it's just expanding like a balloon. And then it releases 4-HNE or oxalums, which are linked to oxidative stress, adipocyte dysfunction, which is the fat cell, the shutdown of lipolysis, which is the use of fat in the cell, insulin resistance. It's incoming all these free fatty acids. It's being shut down of lipolysis, which is crazy. It's releasing 4-HNE, which is oxidative stress in the body, which is going to cause many problems. At the end of the day, guys, I put this image to show you that you don't want to be inflamed. You don't want to have sub-Q fat. You don't want to have visceral fat. That is pretty much inflammation markers in the body. If you guys don't know what visceral fat is, this guy has sub-Q fat. You can see he has outer fat. He also has a big gut. So he has both fats in his body, or the makeup of fat, which is your abdominal fat, visceral fat. That's your inner gut fat. You see the sub-Q fat, which is the outer fat. This guy is inflamed. He's probably eating seed oils. He's probably not healthy. He's not eating whole foods. He's probably in a calorie surplus. He's probably not satiated, because I was listening to all these podcasts of these educated people talking about how seed oils messes with your satiety. And if you go to Chipotle, this is a great example, is like, I feel like I'm never satiated when I go to Chipotle, but I'm eating whole calorically dense foods, and I think, oh, covered in seed oils. And it just makes sense to me, and that's my own anecdote, and there's some studies out there that can relate to it, but there's not good enough studies. I know my own anecdote there, so that's my stance on it. So if you guys want to learn how to be healthier and expand your knowledge and understand what you need to do to be a better version of yourself and live more ancestrally, but also feel amazing every single day, drop a subscribe, and we can go on this journey together. So as always, guys, stay healthy. See you in the next one.